Good morning from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers and I am heading out to start my day. Good morning, boys. Good morning, pups. Get down. Get down. Good boys. Good boys. All right. This is our last day before market starts up. Tomorrow will be the very first farmer's market of 2023. And I am going to get started on our chores, and I thought I might take y'all through most of what we have to do to get ready for the market, most of our farm chores. So we're starting out this morning. I'm just going out to check critters and see how everything did with the storm. Come on, boys. The dogs get to go run as long as there's no chickens out. So they're going to go explore. We got just under 1.5 inches of rain last night. So we'll get that dumped out. Just almost 1.5 inches. We really did not get a lot of damage at our place. In fact, I don't see any sticks or limbs down. I know some people had some wind issues. We didn't have any of that, so that's nice. I'm gonna check the chicks. Brandon remembered during the night that we had forgotten to turn on the heat lamps, so let's see how that went. Uh-oh. We did forget to turn on the heat lamp, and I am not gonna get to turn it on right now because Brandon also forgot to latch the gate, and the goats and calves made use of this pin to stay dry. Nothing wrong with that. We actually appreciate when they find their own place to stay dry, but they've stomped it up, muddied it up, and they buried the end of the cord in the mud, so I am not plugging that in right now. Everybody looks pretty good though. They have water, they have feed, so they're good to go. I'll show you how these guys are looking. Tucker, what do you think? What do you think of the babies? Are they pretty babies? He just loves them. He wants to eat them, is what he wants. So these are the babies that were hatched. I think they're 2 weeks old now. And we've got a few of them in here from Momo's hatch. Her rooster is not doing his job. And so she only got just a handful of chicks. And so those are in here. And not sure yet who will be a male and who will be a female. I'm a little slow on definitively determining that. I see one right, that one I think is probably going to be a male. We'll see on the others, but they look okay. Come on, Tucker, let's go out and then let's close the gate this time. Good morning, Dottie. Are you trying to close this in? It is muddy out here. Hey, calf. I think maybe it was the goats that went in, not the calves. The calves didn't keep themselves overly dry. All right, noisy chickens are here. Hi, babies. They're ready to come out. Now their pen gets muddy when it rains. We do have a roof leak. Brandon is not a fan of ladders, and neither am I. I'm also not good with drills, so I'm not the one to fix it. But we haven't got that fixed yet because he's been avoiding the ladder, and we've been prioritizing other stuff. That's what we're gonna say. We're prioritizing other stuff. So anyways, girls are gonna come out and enjoy some time in what looks like it's going to be a sunny day, and I'm going to take the dogs back out with me now that we're letting them go. Come on, boys, and we'll go peek at the garden for just a minute before we head back inside for breakfast. Okay, first glance, looks like the garden did great. I'm not going to actually go in and check anything right at this moment because we have to come pick in a little bit anyway, but it doesn't look like we had any damage. Don't see any wind damage on the greenhouse, but we do have a massive puddle. We get those. All right, breakfast time, and then we finish our chores. Or not finish, work on our chores. Okay, we finished breakfast, and then we looked outside, and there was a calf in the yard. Yep, there he is. It looks like our fence went down last night, so we got to get that up and going again. Come on, Thibodeau. By the way, you cannot herd a bottle calf. They're not afraid of humans, and so you have to be a little bit rougher on them just because they don't care. Tibby, really, dude? Really, dude? Okay, there we go. He's back in, and the fence is stretched, so we'll get that tightened back up, and then we will get that reset. It looks like it just probably tripped the GFI plug last night, so we'll get that fixed up and get that hot again. Okay, Fence is back up and running. A little bit there likes the green grass, but nope, not running hot enough. We're gonna have to test and try again. Okay, we're gonna test and see what it's running. That is not hot enough to turn the animals. That barely tickles through their hide. So we're gonna have to figure out what is happening, where it's shorting out, and get it. We'd like to have this at actually around 8,000 kilovolts, or 8 kilovolts is where we're aiming for. That seems to be the number to really turn the calves good. We found the culprit. We could hear it popping from over there. The stick fell during the night and had the fence touching this pole here. And so that's trying to charge the entire fence, and that obviously won't work. So looks like we might need another couple of insulators through here. These chain link insulators do their job, but they're not great. So we need to add a couple more to hold it where it's gotten loose here before we could turn it back on. But that's why it was not hot enough over there. It was just touching that metal and trying to charge the whole fence instead. All right, fixing fence was definitely not on the agenda for this morning, but that's how farming goes. Braden told somebody a while back, he's like, I try to plan out my week, and the guy, it's an older farmer, he's like, you're farming now, you don't get to make plans. It's true. It's true. There's no such thing as plans. So he just plugged us back in. We are at 7.5 kilovolts now. Much better. 7.8 on the bottom line. Honestly, this will probably go up some as it dries out. There's some moisture. Any bits of grass or sticks that are touching it are going to kind of pull it down right now. But that should be hot enough to hold everybody now. So that's done. On to the next job. My next job for the day is going to be washing eggs. I have 15 dozen here to wash. We do wash our eggs in the bathroom sink just because we make the jelly in the kitchen, and just personal preference. I don't want to accidentally make somebody sick if I miss a mess somewhere, and so we just keep the eggs and the jelly making separate. We're actually hoping to later on build a specific egg washing station that I'm excited about. But you can see some of them are not bad and some of them are pretty grody, so we're just going to get those clean and ready to carton up for market tomorrow.
All right, so this morning, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna be doing today. So coming in here to the greenhouse, we're gonna check on some plants, and then we're gonna start covering some seeds that I did last night. All right, so these are a lot of our pepper plants that we've got started, and some of our cole crops, some cilantro down there, and some lettuce. So main thing I want to check on right now is my starts. So this right here is habanero peppers. You can see I've got one pepper right there. Let's see. There's another one right there. Look to here. I'm not seeing any of those are cayennes. Actually, hang on. I did see a cayenne. See right there's a little purple. That is a cayenne pepper coming up. I think these are my poblanos. Can't see the label. I'm not seeing any of them come up. I'm looking to see how wet the soil is around them. Kind of check each individual one. This is where I start. Oh, there's one right there. Starting to pay attention to seeds coming up. Peppers usually take forever. I get impatient waiting on them. And these right here are tomatillos. And these right here, I don't remember exactly what these are, but it's another pepper. And you can see there's some right there that are showing, like this one right here, and this one right here, and that one right there are needing some water. They're getting a little dry. And then we've got some spinach, it's looking good, and some lettuce, it's looking really good. I may actually harvest some of that today for market tomorrow. And then this is a flat of, what is, not on that side. Okay, these are poblanos. And you can see some of them are getting dry, so I need to get up the watering can to get those fixed. Spinach is looking good. I think that's cauliflower. That's looking pretty good. It's still got plenty of moisture. And of course, some of these you got to actually kind of bend them back because they're ready to go in the ground. That's on the list of things to do next week. Is planting a bunch of these cole crops. Let's see, our cabbage needs to go out. Cilantro's looking good. These are jalapeno peppers. You can see they're starting to come up. And they're pretty wet, so they won't need to be watered any. I think that's jalapenos as well. I'm gonna come over here and check our starts for the market tomorrow. I have got a bunch of cole crops. All these are ready for market. And some lettuce and some cilantro over there. And all those are looking pretty good. Looks like they got plenty of moisture. Yep, even these spinaches, even though they got little spots of dry, the plugs, when I put them in, were pretty wet, so they've got plenty of moisture. I also forgot, we had better check on these 1,700 tomato plants that I've got going. Most of them are looking in pretty good shape for water. Plants are looking good. They're growing fast too. And there's the rest of them. All right, now it's time to start covering seeds that I started. So yeah, this is the deal. So basically what I'm gonna do is I got my thing of potting soil right here. And I'm just gonna come across and just sprinkle a little bit over the top. Kind of just lightly cover the seeds since they're such small seeds. I don't wanna bury them. I'll just go across and do this on this flat. And then once I get done with this one, I got all these right here that need to be. All right, now that I got all those trays covered, it's time to go ahead and start watering these and get them all nice and wet and ready to start germinating. All right, let's see if we can get these all good and watered. Just kind of go across and make sure we hit everything. We're gonna have to hit it more than once because it's so dry. Potting mix does not like to take water the first couple of times you water it. So now we'll just let it sit there and I'll hit it again.
Eggs are washed and out in the shop fridge now, and I'm gonna head out to the greenhouse and see what Brandon's up to. He's been finishing up some planting that he started yesterday. Yesterday he got the seeds in the trays, and today I think he was gonna be covering them and watering them to get those started. So let's go see what's up out there. Gotta go all the way around the massive pond in the backyard this morning. All right, looks like seeds are covered and watered. These are peppers. So we've got everything from like the scorpion peppers and the Carolina Reapers, sweet peppers, bell peppers. Then we have some, where are the others? Over here. These are like poblanos and some of those things, jalapenos, that have been in the ground a little longer, so they're starting to come up. So that's happening. And then the next thing that has to happen is what?
Oh, I gotta get started washing seed trays for next week's planting of squash and zucchini and all that good stuff.
And why do we wash them?
Because they may have bacteria in them that may hurt our starts.
So we wash every tray between each planting. That lets us reuse the trays rather than just throwing them out, but it also gives our starts a better start. And all we do for that is to just mix some bleach water, a little bit of bleach and some water, and we wash the trays in that and then leave them to dry thoroughly before we plant the next thing. So we're finishing up sanitizing. We're gonna have a little over 30 of them clean when we're done. It's kind of a balancing act to stack them there without them settling together on our giant garden drainer out here. So there's about 30 of them, and they don't have to be completely clean. You can see there's still some dirt on them. The main thing is to kill any sort of mold, algae, anything like that that would be in them, or any sort of plant diseases, and that's what the bleach is for. It's not as much about getting the dirt off as it is about getting the harmful stuff off. All right, so that finishes the greenhouse work for now. We're gonna go in. Brandon's gonna have some coffee. I'm gonna have some mildly coffee flavored hot cocoa. And we're gonna take us a little break before we start picking. The next thing we have to do is picking lettuce, well, a little bit of lettuce, spinach, and collards mostly. We got radishes to pick, that sort of thing. And then we'll have to get those packaged and ready for market tomorrow. All right, next thing I'm gonna do, because I don't really have time to start picking before lunchtime, I'm gonna go through and check my jelly inventory to make sure that I have everything organized and ready to take in the morning. Anything that we've sold throughout the week, I need to make sure that all our counts are right and it's all organized and together and ready for that. So we generally take 6 of each flavor for a regular market day. Big events, we take flats of flavors, but regular markets are just 6 of each. So I've got spoon, grape, choco berry, and pineapple. Just a little bit of sugar-free this time around. Didn't have time to get it all. That one's peach and cherry. Sundae sauce and strawberry. Last of the fall flavors over here. Raspberry and blueberry. And there's all my hot and sweets. So everything is together and ready. I just checked our change bag and that's ready for tomorrow. Probably need to, no, I got enough bags. That's one thing we always check, is to make sure that we have enough bags. We don't want to get there without the bags. We've done that before. And then of course, banners, tablecloths, t-shirts, coffee cups, all of that stuff appears to be in order. I usually try to get the market box put back together after each market, so that one's all ready. So that's the prep work that has to be done. We also have tables and tents and all that stuff, but that's already together out there. Alrighty, it's a little after 1 o'clock now. Spunk, leave the chicken alone. Thank you, Spunk. Good boy. A little after 1 o'clock, we had the kids do their school while we worked on some housework and some paperwork, and then we ate lunch, and now we're back after it. So we're getting ready to pick the garden for the first time. Since we mostly have greens, we have been just letting them grow and grow and then eating some ourselves. But you can't really pick them early because they don't last as well. I mean, you can a little bit early, but we want them as fresh as possible. So it's warmed up. I'm gonna open up the greenhouse, and then when Brandon gets out, we'll start picking. All right, so this is our green picking basket. We do not sell washed greens per se, but we do like to rinse some of the sand off. Because not all of our greens are planted in plastic to keep them clean, they do come pretty dirty. So we like to put them in there, and then we can rinse them right in that. They're not washed, but some of the sand is removed. So that's where we're at right now. We're going to start by picking one basket and then see how much is left out here and determine from there what we want to do. All right, basket number 1 is full in like, well, Brandon did a row and I did a row. 12 feet a row maybe?
10.
He says 10. So we're gonna go in and start by just rinsing these off. That's good. So again, it's not fully washed, it's just some of the sand removed, and then we can shake this basket, kind of twist it around and all those things and get most of that water out before we take them in here. And we're gonna just spread them on some towels to dry slightly before we put them in the bags. All right, I am having to work pretty fast because we don't want any of this to wilt, so it's difficult for me to show you our process here. Again, we sell our spinach slightly rinsed, not washed. It is not washed. Please wash your spinach when you get home from our farm. We don't have a washing station yet, so we can't really get it as clean as we would like to. So what we're doing is we're rinsing it like I showed you. We're laying it here to dry just a little bit because we don't want to put all that water into the bags. And then we have our bags and we're filling them about halfway. So there's a good bit in there, kind of packing it tight in there. And then I put in just a little bit of paper towel to help absorb some of the extra water. We found that that helps us some, especially at the markets where it tends to condensate and start to look a little worse throughout the day. Even though it's still fresh, it's condensating. And then we get it sealed up, and Lainey is running them around to the refrigerator for us to go ahead and start chilling them. All right, we have moved on to picking collards now. Collards, we're going for the larger leaves, and they're probably going to go in slightly bigger bags than the spinach just because they cook down so small. Once you actually cook them, they start out so big and then they get so small. So we're picking them the same way, but because these are in the plastic, these will probably not be rinsed, correct? I think these are just going to be ready to go in the bags, which will be nice. And while we pick, we can also check for damage, like there's some holes, so we can be looking for cabbage loopers or anything like that that we need to be aware. And that's where we're at. Okie doke. Collards, spinach, and the little bit of kale that we had. We did not intend to plant kale. The kale got mixed in with the collards, and so we just have a little bit. But all of that has been picked and packaged. And the next thing to do is radishes. And then because it got warm, we need to run back through and water everything after that. And then there's a feed run coming, all that good stuff. But next we'll be picking radishes. So I'm going to start with these icicles. Likely what we're going to do today is pick all of them. We have replanted radishes at this point, but we're probably going to end up picking all of these. And we'll save a few at the tops, and most of them we will remove the tops. They're big, giant icicle radishes, looking really good. Very excited about these. All right, radishes are picked. We were able to leave some for next week, which is good because our next planting is a little bit behind. So we were really worried we were going to have a gap between, but this way maybe not. But some ants have been after this one, and so it is not good to sell, but you can see this backside is perfectly fine. So I'm going to taste it and see how the product is. Radishes are not my favorite food. I eat them occasionally, but they're not my favorite. But we'll see how it is. So it does have a pretty pungent radish flavor. Good heat at the end. That's really pretty good. It's more the texture for me. I don't really like crunchy things. I don't even really like carrots. But the flavor there is really good. So we'll have lots of these with us at the market, and we're even going to take some of the radish tops packaged separately, because I know some people like those in salads and stuff too. All right, veggies are washed, eggs are washed. The fridge is full. Next is a feed run. Still got to label the vegetables, but feed run is next. All right, video number 1 this morning was just before 8 o'clock. No, like 7:30. I don't know. It is now 5-ish, and we are heading out to feed. Our day is almost done. We just got back from the feed store. Had to go get some more layer pellets, so we'll have to get that unloaded too. But I'm going to start out by just bringing the chickens some scraps and trying to get them to start going back into their pen. Look out, girls. Chickens. Chick. Looks like we had a wind issue and their door has blown closed. We'll get that locked open again so they can all start coming in for the evening. Come on, chickens. It did rain last night, so I have to dump out our rain collection from our leaky roof. So I'll do that next. And I think Brandon just got here with the first bag of feed, so we'll start feeding that as well. Come on, chick. So you saw them all go out this morning. We were all super excited to leave this morning. And now they were super excited to come back this evening. They do know about their door. They know how to do it. And pretty easily all come back in. Hey, pretty girl. So next we'll be scooping feed, collecting eggs, all the pretty eggs, and then we'll have one more batch of eggs to wash this evening, of course. So we've got 36 hens in our laying flock. 35 are laying, and one is an old retired friend. So she doesn't lay very often, but she stays here. We get 3 scoops of feed. Looks like most of them have come on in for the evening. There's still maybe 3 out. Come on, girls. There you go. We usually try to get it to where they do have some feed left the next night. So it looks like I need to give them another extra couple of scoops this evening just to make sure that that happens tomorrow. Most nights it's 3 scoops. Sometimes we have to make up for if they're hungrier or if they don't get let out or anything like that by giving them extra. Come on, ladies. Come on, in you go. Right, so I'll give them extra, and then I'll check on our young birds next door. So these birds were all hatched here in the fall. In this flock, we're down to 7 roosters that are going to either find new homes or new stew pots. And then we have this beautiful blue girl back here, pretty blue chicken. And she should start to lay in the next probably 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember exactly when they were hatched right now, but I think it'll be 2 or 3 weeks. So that's what's left in here. All right, next is the goats and the calves. They are eating together. They get basically a sweet feed mix. Come on, girls. There you go. Calves and goats all eat together. Gotta get the water out of this one from the rain last night. Hey, Mr. Man. Check everybody out. Dottie's getting close to a baby. Stripey's looking good after her baby. Nubbins looks good. Cows look good. All right, this is where it gets a little trickier, particularly while I'm trying to hold a camera, because we have 1, 2 roosters in this breeding pen. 10, oh, look out, 10 hens, 2 roosters, and occasionally the roosters decide they want to have bad attitudes with us. This blue one right here is one of them that we have to watch. There you go, ladies. Looks like we're going to have to do a makeup feeding for them as well. Give them some extra today. One of their nest boxes, they use these plastic tote boxes. One was dumped over, so we'll have to scrounge and see if there were any eggs in it. I think it blew over last night before the storm, so probably nothing got laid in there. I'm not giving you all a good image right now because I'm trying to collect eggs and watch for a rooster. All right, so breeding flock has several different breeds in here. We've got whiting true blues or Americanas. We're not totally sure which. We've got red stars. We've got leghorns. There's an Australorp. There is a barred rock. Different things. Look out, green roof. All right, that's all the eggs in here. And I am going to bring them one more scoop of feed because that didn't look like quite enough for them tonight. Okay, so everybody's fed. Now it's time to collect eggs. One question that came up at our last chicken class was, how do you get the eggs? You can reach under the hens. That's one reason that we do love these pretty red stars. They're really gentle and you can reach under them and get them. But generally what we do is we just wait until they finish laying for the day, and then we can collect the eggs without making anybody upset, ourselves included. Because while it doesn't hurt so much to be pecked by a chicken, it is pretty unnerving. It's just weird to have an animal attacking you. Oh, that's a big basket of eggs. I'm not counting as I go tonight. I'll just count them when I get inside. But that's a good bunch. And then we got some down here. It looks like Squirt did decide to lay an egg tonight. So Squirt is that one right there. And she lays these lighter colored eggs. So good job, Squirt. We're right back where we started this morning. We are checking the chicks now. And I did not get a chance to come out here and clean up any of the mess from the calves and goats coming in last night. But we'll get to it. Everybody's up here, so it doesn't matter as much. They're not down there in the mud. Woo, making a mess. So I have 2 feeders for these. They seem to prefer this red one. I actually have another feeder similar to this one, but red, that I really need to go and get out because they like the red better. Red is just a good color for chickens anyway. I'm gonna dump this old feed that they've kind of pooped in and gotten wet. I just dump it on the ground because tomorrow our chickens will be out and they'll come and peck that up, and that works for us. I'm gonna have to check the weather and see if I'll need to plug this heat lamp back in. Remember that cord got messed up during the night, so I'd have to go get out a new cord. Don't really want to plug that dude back in. That's in pretty bad shape right now. So I'll check the weather and decide how that needs to go down. And then after that, we're down to taking eggs in, counting them, recording them, and washing them. All right, we got 6 eggs from the breeding flock and 33 eggs from the layers tonight. So they're here, and then it's just a matter of going and getting them washed for market tomorrow. Okay, so there you are. That is pretty much what our day looked like, trying to get ready for the first market of the season. We still have a few things to do. We need to close up the greenhouse for the night, wash these eggs, label the greens that we picked today, that sort of thing. And edit this video and put it together for YouTube. That's coming. But anyways, that's about how our day went. So thank you for stopping by the farm today. I hope you learned something about how we do things around here and enjoyed your trip to the farm. Be sure and tell your friends about our YouTube channel so that we can grow, and come back when you can stay longer.